It all boils down to one thing and one thing only. Men are not reliable. And honestly, they never have been when it comes to taking care of their families. Too many of them abandon their children, abuse their wives, and on and on and on. Child abandonment, spousal abandonment, that's been happening since the beginning of marriage. Again, men are not reliable. Do not rely on them for your financial security. Do not rely on them for love. Do not rely on them for companionship. Do not rely on them for community. Because historically, they suck at all those things.
I swear to God, this is what it comes down to. Now, the why part, entitlement, selfishness, like in all the ways they've been conditioned under patriarchy, blah, blah, blah. But unreliable, being unreliable is like the only thing you can count on for sure. So that's my buddy Therese. If you're not already following her, I'm sure you are, but if you're not, you should follow and go watch that video. So she's talking about, especially in response to like the whole trad wife thing, which is all propaganda. It has always been propaganda, and now they have just repackaged it and have these like rich white ladies, not always white, but usually rich white ladies, Mormon usually, but not always, trying to sell this thing that they've been trying to do this for a long time. They've just, now they have like TikTok and all these other ways to do it, but don't believe it. I have so many videos I want to make about that. But when I talk unreliable, that is literally one of the things that I didn't realize I was looking for or paying attention to at the late stages of me being single. I didn't get married until I was like 42. Right? I've been single my whole life, more or less, with the exception of like a couple years in there, right? Celibate for 12 of those years, not all consecutively. But whenever, like, from listening to women. Okay, so, and I know I am a child of an affair. Like, I'm not a product of an affair. My family was broken up because of an affair. So, dad, unreliable. Was reliable for child support and financial, other kinds of financial support, but he was reliable to drink every single day that I knew him until he got Alzheimer's and couldn't remember to drink. So anyway, I learned right out of the gate, wow, okay, can't count on men, right? And then I just saw what happened to other families. And then, my friends started dating again. I didn't really date much because I was like, what's the point? They don't seem to make women's lives better, so I just didn't. I would try, and then I was like, whoa, and I was like, never mind, But the thing, so I know that they cheat. I know that they leave their families. I know that they disappoint. I know that they, they have a whole secret family, right? They lie all the time through like outright crazy lies or lying through omission. But one of the things that seemed like this is seriously what seems to be consistent. And the marriages that make it and are healthy, and I don't mean make it like, oh, we've been married 25 years, but we hate each other, which seems to be the case. Longevity is not a measurement of the health of a marriage. I know that like older people especially like to convince us of that. I mean, love is blind. Like Clay, I'm married 25 years or whatever, although my dad literally took me out to go cheat on my mom. So longevity of a marriage is not a measuring stick about the health of a marriage. In fact, a lot of times these long marriages it's like, oh, like I see it a lot of times. It's like she put up with your crap for that many years. And then she finally had the finances or whatever to finally leave. But the thing that I see the most and the thing that causes most divorces is because men are unreliable. They don't do what they say. They don't do what they say they're going to do. They don't keep their vows. They leave you if you get sick. They're 6 times more likely to abandon you if you get a chronic illness, right? So we know that they're not reliable to take care of us. And sickness and health only applies to what we do for them, not the opposite, right? In terms of loyalty, already going over that. Cheat, blah, 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 right? We know that they don't actually do anything at home unless they are literally addressing all the entitlement that they get and the selfishness that they've been taught under patriarchy, and they also have to like love the crap out of you, because otherwise you're getting exploited. Period. Right? So we know they're not reliable to actually do all the work they should be doing to be a true partner. They want to be a husband, but they don't want to be a partner. Right? So they pretend to be dumb. They purposely do things bad. They have all these amazing tricks because they've convinced us they're stupid, and they're not. That they're forgetful. Oopsies. They're not. I forget stuff all the time. You know how I stop forgetting it? Write it down in the calendar. I mean, come on. They're not the forgetful. They just don't care. They didn't forget your birthday. They just don't care. They didn't forget your eye color or what day their kid was born that you almost died giving birth to. They just don't care, right? So they're not dumb. They're not just these like, dogs we have to train. They just don't care. And the sooner we accept that, the freer we will be. And the more authentic we will live, because we're living in a delusion if we think that they're just dumb. If they're so dumb, how do they still have all the power and money? Right? They just keep readapting. But the thing that when I listen to all my mutuals who are divorced, the thing that like, and it wasn't because of an affair, because they weren't reliable to be faithful, or they didn't leave because she got sick or something. It's always because they don't do what they're going to say, which weaponized incompetence comes into that. They say like so many stories of women just being like, I just needed him to call the plumber. And he didn't call the plumber, so then our pipes blew up and we owed tens of thousands of dollars because I just needed him to do the thing he said he was going to do, and he didn't do it. Why? Because men are unreliable. They don't get things done. They don't care. Right? One of my mutuals, I remember this video so well. She was in her backyard. I'm going to tag her too because I love following her. And she was talking about how her husband always said he was going to check the oil. Never did. Like her engine could have literally blown up because he didn't check the oil. And if you don't, you know what I mean? I had an engine blow up. Literally, I had to buy a whole new truck because the idiot, the unreliable mechanic of mine, that I spent all kinds of money for, but whatever. It's another story. Like, I swear to God, I like almost never hire men for anything anymore because I don't believe them. They just lie. All the time. Oh, I did that. But my mutual was talking about how it didn't check the oil like he said he was going to do. So she just started taking it to the oil changes. Oh, I'm going to do this because I'm a man. I'm a big man. I'm going to change the oil. I'm going to mow the lawn. Never did. She talked about her backyard never looked so good until they divorced. Because all the things he said he's going to do, he never did. Because they're full of shit. That's supposed to be that emoji of like the pile of dung. I've heard so many stories of women being like, that was the final straw. Like one woman got a divorce because of the pool. He was supposed to clean the pool. And the fact that she had to remind him again, and he just never did it. And we get tired of reminding y'all because you're unreliable. So I swear to God, if people ask me for like dating advice all the time, I don't know. I'm not a dating coach. I can tell you what red flags to look for, and I'll tell you green flags. And then these can always be manipulated, right? Because if we learn from Risa Tisa, that man got her tire changed. He seemed reliable, paying bill, whatever. I know that there's red flags, whatever. A lot of men will fake being reliable, so of course they could switch up at any moment. But one of the things I started looking, does he do what he says he's going to do? Or is he just full of empty promises? Because that is the thing that drives women crazy. I'm going to buy you, they will like promise a present, promise flowers, promise I'm going to take you on this, They're all full of crap. Assume that they're not going to do any of the things they say they're going to do. Right? And a future faking of gifts, right? And they can take credit for the thing they never did, right? Is he reliable? Does he do the things that he says he's going to do? And if he doesn't, you are setting yourself up to be a nag. Right? We're the nags. No, y'all are unreliable. do what you say you're gonna do. It's not that hard. But for them, they're just, it's so dumb. Let me tell you one example, for instance, and this is why, by the way, even the most evolved man still has to work on this. If you are a feminist and if you're a man and you call yourself a feminist, like, don't openly say that, I guess, because I don't even, when men are like, I'm a feminist, and I'm like, right, performative, I don't even trust you. So let your actions show. Stop exploiting the women you love. Your mom, your sister, your girlfriend, your wife. Especially if you date women, stop exploiting the women in your home and start keeping your freaking promises. Do the things on your to-do list. Don't make her remind you, because I swear that is literally what drives women crazy. Every woman I know who is married to a man complains about this. Every woman I know. Now, some of them, it's just like occasionally, right? Because we all have room to grow. But this is seriously the most consistent complaint. He doesn't do the things he says he's going to do. If he does it like on his own time. It's like, bro, just do it. Just do it. You have time to play on your stuff. You have time to keep track of all your sports statistics. You have time to do all this other stuff. Your hobbies, your fantasy football, whatever. But you don't have time to just check these things off so that we can be in peace. Because until you do that thing, I have to worry about it, right? The woman has to worry about it. She has to worry about it. At work, men, they do this at work. They literally do this in every area, but especially in the home. This is why women are like, I'm not getting married anymore. Fork off. Because we don't want to be nagged. And I swear, there was that article like years ago for Harper's Bazaar says, we're not nags, we're fed up. That's it. That was the first time I was like, oh, because I wasn't married. I didn't know what marriage was. I don't think I maybe dated one person by then. And I was like, interesting. I need to look for this, right? And I did. That's why the sharing information is so important, y'all. We learn what to look for and what not to look for. And even then, no amount of information will completely ever protect you, okay? Because that's very victim blaming to be like, if you know enough information, no man will ever hurt you. And that's BS. But one of the things I look for that I didn't even realize I was, but I think I just kind of taken that information in. I wasn't like, I didn't have a checklist or anything. I retain information that I learned from my own experiences, which are almost always painful and ridiculous. And sometimes almost like I have to learn the hard way, right? But I also learn from other women's experiences. I do. I take it in. I'm like, ooh, okay, right? And that's why I make my content, because I hope that you don't have to almost get driven over a cliff to learn the red flags of like dating narcissists. And so when I was dating Anthony in the beginning, there's a few things where I was like, that's a problem. Just saying, like, do what you do. But if you want to be with me, I don't want to be with someone who does that. The first example that I can think of is the men's group stuff. When we were in confinement, I'm doing all this stuff. I'm calling my friends all the time. I'm doing karaoke on Zoom. I'm literally trapped in a house for months. I have to have a permission slip to leave the house for 1 hour a day to go jog. Can't go more than a kilometer. This is in France, right? It's like pretty draconian here. And so I needed to stay connected to my community. And I was like, like you only have like one close friend and you don't even talk to him enough. So eventually I was like, I didn't say, you need to do this. I just said, it concerns me that you don't have that many close friends. And I knew why, because he'd, been abroad for a while and come back. And I know I know what it's like in your 30s, 40s, and just as an adult, or just in general, how hard it is to make friends, lasting friendships, like close friends, right? So I understood the context, but I was like, yeah, but you're not doing anything about it. I was like, I just can't, I couldn't remember how I phrased it. And he said, he was like, no, you did it. You phrased it perfectly. You just said, I can't see myself long-term with someone who doesn't have close friends. And you've read my article, right? My proudest piece thus far. Women have no friends and men have no friends and women bear the burden. Harper's Bazaar went super viral. He had read that piece. He'd been talking about men's groups and wanting to form them. He seemed to believe in the message of that piece, but I hadn't seen any action. And I mean, I literally care so much about that topic because I've seen what happens to my other friend's relationship, that I experienced that in a relationship where he didn't have any friends he talked to, and it ruined our relationship with one of my exes. So that's like a non-negotiable for me, right? What did he do? Got into action. I wanted a man of his word. I wanted a man who wouldn't just say he's going to do it and then put it off and me have to cattle prod him. I don't want to do that. I'm not your mom. I'm not your teacher. I'm not your motivational speaker. I'm not your cheerleader unless you're cheering just as much for me. But it still requires action, right? And he like had the men's group started on Zoom within a couple or 3 weeks. They had their first meeting. You know, this is not an easy thing to organize because they're in like 4 different time zones or something. I forget, but you know, all different countries. Like, I was like, okay, this is a man who does what he says he's going to do. I do not want a talker. I don't want empty promises because that is maddening. It's maddening, right? You just call yourself a liar. That you're just a liar. Being unreliable is lying, right? Now, I know I don't always follow through on things. I give people grace. I have ADHD. I literally forget if it's out of sight, out of mind. I'm not saying that, right? But I'm talking about if you know, you know. If you know, you know. These men will promise to take care of all these things, and then they don't, and they literally put you in danger sometimes with your car or all these other things. So that, if I have to give one piece of advice besides look for entitlement, which I never traced in Anthony, was that entitlement, which is what grape culture is founded on. But a green flag to look for is, do they do the things they say they're going to do? And again, not perfectly. And again, that doesn't mean I've never had to remind him to do anything. That doesn't, you know what I mean? I don't want anyone to think, oh my God, that's perfect. No, we are both learning and growing and unpacking patriarchy within ourselves and talking about it. And so just don't want to like other us from other couples. But I will say the marriages that last, that are healthy and not just like last because of not good reason, are the ones where a woman can trust that a man will do what he says he's going to do within a given time period of when he's going to do it. And that is literally the thing, other than infidelity, which is also being unreliable, that seems to be behind all the divorces that I know. They're sick of men pretending that they're this great man who's going to take care of, because it threatens our sense of security. Do not do that. Do not do that. Because if you're lying about this, what else are you lying about, bro? You say you're going to do this and you don't do it. What else are you not going to? Are you paying the bills? What? I can't trust you. I can't trust you if you're not reliable. That may hurt for a lot of men to hear, but that's what it boils down to. If you don't do what you say you're going to do, you're not trustworthy. Sorry, you're not. Bitches get shit done. And men, well, don't believe them, watch them. He doesn't do what he says he's going to do. You do not have a foundation of trust. And without trust, you don't have true love. Impossible. I can't love you if I don't trust you. Them the rules.